are you seeing any payoff or any cool thing that's coming from this practice, or what's been what's the making it worthwhile for you?
I think what it is I'm learning to look at myself through like a different lens, as to correct myself rather than beating myself down.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 15 of Sinless. I am James Rock here in the wonderful Trout Lake Camps podcast room. That is my pal Justin, and he is over there running the ship and hopefully running it well. We keep trying to figure things out. Hopefully this sounds better than last time. You never know. This is my friend Kevin.
Woo-hoo.
Kevin is on staff at Trout. You came as a full-time year-round cook.
Yeah.
How'd you find out about Trout?
It was crazy because I was just looking for another ministry job, and I put my resume out, and then churchstaffing.com said, hey, you should apply to these camps. Yeah. And I applied here, and then somehow me and Rick have a connection, but Rick is from Pennsylvania and I'm from Georgia, and there's no way that we should be able to connect, so it was a God thing.
It was a God thing. Awesome. And Kevin is cook extraordinaire. He is so amazing at making food, and man, when you make your southern stuff, I kind of like that a lot. And bring in Minnesota has some food problems inherently. They're kind of meat and potato types. And I came from Michigan to Minnesota 27 years ago, and it's just, I mean, every once in a while I see a Thai restaurant and you're in shock that there'd be food from outside of Minnesota in Minnesota. But Kevin does a great job bringing food service here. But Kevin, I came to you one day and I said, hey, you should try Sinless. What was your first thoughts about that?
I was like, whoa, man. A lot of vices, everybody has. And so I was kind of worried about it at first, but then I was kind of like, yeah, I should do it, because that way I can figure out how to grow closer to God and imitate Jesus more, I guess is the right way to say it.
And that's one of my favorite things about Kevin. From first meeting him, Kevin is very mindful of constantly doing ministry with anybody you meet, and sharing who Jesus is to anybody that you meet. And just to say Kevin's an all-around pretty cool guy is an understatement, in my opinion. One of my favorite staff members. So tell me, how many weeks have you been doing it?
I think I started 3 weeks ago. That's when I got the paper.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so what was your first kind of initial, hey, this is what it feels like doing Sinless?
Oh man, it made me self-conscious a little bit. I was like, dang, man, I'm kind of messed up, man. Because and it was never anything that was like super big. It's like the little things that we don't think about that are mostly like getting me, and I'm just like, oh man.
You were talking about talking on the phone. Tell me that one.
Oh man, talking on the phone and wanting to get off and telling like the littlest white lies to get off. Oh man, I can't do this. I'm driving, or like I'm going here, or I just pulled up and I still have like 10 minutes left of my drive, but I'm tired of talking, and so
the little white lies. Of trying to get somebody off of a phone, you're thinking, oh man, that's on the list, that's lying, and so I've got to knock that off.
Yeah, but also in conversations when I want to leave them too, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go. Like I really have to be here by this time, and it's not true. Sometimes I just want to go be by myself. That was one of them.
Yeah. So have you had to find new excuses? Have you had to find new kind of ways?
No, I've just been being honest. We're like. And I'm trying to figure out how to do it in the love, because recently it's been, well, I kind of don't want to talk anymore, but I love you. and so like, that's kind of like, oh.
So what's the response to that versus the response to, hey, I just pulled up?
My mom was kind of like, oh, okay. Or like my best friend was like, well, bye, bro. And then I always answer like, I love you. It's not much different. It's kind of like just taking aback by how like front coming I am, and just like, hey, like, I don't want to talk anymore. I need to go.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
And so, well, that I mean, that's really interesting to me. I mean, everybody's got their different things. I've been talking a little bit about. For me, I drive over the speed limit, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, now wait a minute. I find I'm doing it. So it's one of those things where you think. Maybe on occasion you say a little white lie, but then when you're actually doing a check mark and you're almost every phone call, you're ending like this, or almost every time I drive somewhere, I'm going over the speed limit, And it's just like, but then the weird part is when you're like, okay, what do I replace that with? Do I replace that with driving the speed limit, and what exactly does that mean? Or how do I replace trying to get off a phone call when I got to get off a phone call? That's super interesting. I like it. Now, and so are you there? Or are you still kind of every once in a while?
I'm still saying a little white lie every now and then to get out of conversation. Because sometimes conversations are just awkward, or they're just unnecessarily long, and it was supposed to be a quick conversation. Now it's drawn out, and then you're saying, "Hey, I don't want to talk anymore." It's not like the most appropriate because somebody could be pouring like their heart and like sold out to me. I'm kind of like,
Yep. So, and for me, the one I'm getting in conversation is I'm watching harder because, like, there was 5 people that did this, but now when I say 5 people, I got to go, is that really 5, or was that 4? Was that 6? In conversation, I think, statistically, it was something like, I'm gonna say the stat wrong, but I was looking at it a couple weeks ago. It was like about 10-15% of what anybody says in conversation isn't quite right. And it could be their memory, it could be on purpose, it could be any number of things, but we never remember it correctly, right? Mm-hmm. And so I talk about numbers so much with people about camp and on tours and just about what's going on and all that stuff. I find that it's not ending the conversation like you. I find with me, it's like, did I say that number correctly? Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's like, I'm not trying to exaggerate. I'm not trying to say it wrong. I'm not trying to, but while I'm talking to people and I've got that, the Sinless sheet next to me, I go, oh man, I just said it wrong. Or in multiple conversations, I've said, it was 5 people. And then I'm keep talking. And then I go, oh, wait a minute. It was really 4. And then I got to double back to them. And so not only did I lie, but I'm trying to fix it, and go back to it and go, okay, oh, no, it was really 4. I said 5. I didn't mean it, but it wasn't like it's not like you're purposely being mean to people.
I'm not trying to hurt anybody. That's not the thing. I'm not trying to make anybody anything. I care so much about what people think about me and how I leave somebody in a situation that like, hey, like I want to go, but I want you to feel like I hate you or I'm annoyed by you. Yep. So I'm going to figure out an excuse that makes you think, oh, he just needs to go.
So when you're actually kind of writing it out, for me, I felt like I didn't sin as much as I thought, but I sinned on different topics way more than I thought, or different areas way more than I thought, like multiple times, like the ending phone calls or like the talking or so. Is there anything else that jumped out in you as you were kind of tracking things? It was like, oh, man, that was a surprise to me.
Surprised because I wasn't paying attention to it, but if I was, it would have not been a surprise. Yeah, maybe. Like I'm a glutton, man. I like to eat. I love food, and like I overindulge often. And so when I'm lonely, I eat. When I'm sad, I eat. And I didn't really think about that stuff now because I was just like, oh, it makes me feel better. Oh well. Yeah. But now I'm tracking it. Was just like, well, I wasn't hungry. I didn't need it. I was already full. Yeah. I just wanted it. You know?
Walking up to the fridge, that constant snacking. Yeah. Did I really need? I'm right there with you, man. I'm finding. Not necessarily on purpose, but I'm kind of losing a little bit of weight in this because it's the same thing when I go to the refrigerator and grab a chunk of cheese, at 9 p.m., or make some nachos that I shouldn't be making. I go, oh, that's gluttony, and it's weird because you're exactly right. I'm not eating because I need it. I'm just eating because I'm doing that. And that gluttony one's a weird one. Yeah. And you're sitting next to food all day.
Yeah.
In your work life, you're surrounded in a kitchen with food all day. I'm just in an office with a little mini fridge, but so that's got to be hard.
Yeah, sometimes it's just I'm bored. It's just like we're busy and we're doing stuff, and something might stress me out a little bit in the kitchen. We don't have enough of this, or I have to figure this out. I'm like, oh, there's an extra cookie right here. Yep. This will help. I don't think about it because again, I don't need it, but I want it. Not to say that there's anything wrong with a snack every now and then.
No.
Right, but I didn't need it because I just ate breakfast like an hour ago. Yep.
So we're a couple sins that we're working on that are kind of. Are you seeing any payoff or any cool thing that's coming from this practice, or what's been kind of making it worthwhile for you?
I think what it is I'm learning to look at myself through like a different lens as to correct myself rather than beating myself down. Yeah. And so, in a way, I mean, like, most of the time when I would come into saying it would make me really sad and be like, oh, man, I'm this horrible person and blah, 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 which,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, hey, like, we did this and I don't want to be like Christ and that's not right. But, like, hey, I need to take time to actually look for these things and I'm actively trying to do it. So it helps me, like, my self-esteem go up a little bit more than it usually was. So like, hey, like, I did that. Like, yeah, okay. Now, like, let's keep going. Let's, like, try again and be better,
You said that so great. I literally this week I've been pushing through kind of the same thing because my internal voice, he's never happy. That guy in my head, he's always irritated, always grumpy. It's never good enough. and it's more on myself than people around me, and I can be hard on people around me too. But I'm really hard on myself. But for some reason, there's been something about this sinless practice, and again, I'm pretty new to it too, where it's like, man, I'm irritated that I did that. But there's this cool thing about it where it's like, but now that I'm watching for it, I'm actually trying to do the right thing and taking that on. So there is that disappointment in yourself, but there's also this moment of, but wait a minute, doing the sinless practice, the sinless program, whatever you want to call it, and going, okay, I'm calling myself out for not doing something right. There's something healing. There's something softening. There's something about, but wait a minute, I'm this big jerk and I'm mad at myself for doing that, but I'm trying to do it better and I'm trying to take that thing on and I'm trying to do the right thing. And for whatever reason, that's making my inner voice not quite as grumpy, because it's like, okay, oh, I'm recognizing it. And I'm going to try to, okay, that's one I'm going to try to take on. I'm going to try to take on that thing, how I hang up the phone, how I say goodbye to the people I'm talking to or whatever, how I interact, how I, do whatever, my gluttony thing, I want a chunk of cheese with some mustard on it, but I'm not going to do it. Oh man, mustard on cheese. Oh, so good. Is a sweet, spicy mustard. Oh, it's so good, man. I want a chunk of cheese with some mustard on it, but I'm not going to do it. And you can get so down on yourself, but it's like, oh no, but I'm trying to do the right thing. And it's and then, it's a prayer about it, or it's in the morning when I kind of set up for doing it that day. There's those moments where I'm like, okay, this is the thing I'm really going to work on. It kind of softens that interior voice. And I think it's going well for me. This sounds like it's going well for you.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, we don't have a ton of time because Kevin's got to get to work, but we're going to bring you back and talk about this more here in a couple weeks. And Kevin, I am so glad you're trying Sinless out, and I'm so glad you're a bud and you're hanging out with us. And we will see you at the next episode.